How's it going, everyone? It's Mostrino here, and I am so excited to be able to share with you this brand new series that I'm doing. Each episode, we're going to get a former mix contest finalist, and they're going to kind of work through making a portion of a mix, and their process is going to be completely recorded so that you can see their workflows and all of these little ins and outs that you won't be able to find anywhere else when it comes to making mixes and when it comes to making mashups. And the coolest thing is that each episode, the guest is going to be continuing from the previous guest's mix. So at the end of it all, it's going to be one huge back-to-back mix with everyone's different style and flavor on it, and you're going to be able to see how the whole thing was done start to finish. Now, this video is a heavily edited and cut down version of the full session, but if you want to see everything, I'm going to link the full session in the description so you can check it out there as well. If there's any parts where it's like, I'm not really sure how we got from part A to part B and you want to see what came in between, you can go ahead and just reference the full video to see the whole thing. And if you're a former mix contest finalist and you would like to be a guest on one of these videos, let me know on Discord. I would love to have you. The last thing that I want to say before we start the video is, as you'll notice right from the very beginning of the clip, my mic is absolutely bricked in the recording, so I apologize profusely. We fixed it up for the second session, that's like the last kind of third of the video, but yeah, for that first like 2/3, it's pretty rough, so I really do apologize. But I think that that's about all, so let's roll the clip. So here we have the one and only Mix Contest 2022 season champion and in line to be an elite judge for the next season of the Mix Contest. We have the one and only Baldie here, and we're gonna see what you cook up for us in the studio today. Yeah.
Thanks. I'm excited. I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
Yeah. Same here. So we've got you starting off with, like, the only requirement for this is that you have to start with I'm Here. And if you go ahead and play the intro of I'm Here, I think people will know why.
All right.
Yeah, that's our mix contest intro. And then beyond that, we're just going to go wild. We're going to see what you come up with. And yeah, let's see. Why not really quickly you talk about everything else that we have in the project file here just by default?
Yes, for sure, of course. So I've set myself up a little template here. I've condensed it into one screen for so you guys can all see it. Usually on my leftmost monitor, I've got my analyzers and my ozone here that I have on the master. So I've got the true peak on, very important, which Mostrino actually told me about. I got my character on fast. I want it clipping basically. I'll have like my mixoscope, which is essentially just a fun little oscilloscope there. Very useful for sidechaining, I find. So sometimes I'll solo like my kick and my bass to see how they interact there. Got span over here. Both of those last two plugins are free, by the way, if any of you are trying to get it, and Analyzer as well. I just have it set a bit faster than span, and it just tells me the notes automatically, which I find quite useful. Not the most accurate for notes, but it's just for ease of access. So my sidechain, I've got this little patch here called Flower. It's free. If you look up Core G Flower on YouTube, you'll find a little video and a free download there. Essentially a band-specific sidechain, kind of like Track Spacer, if you've heard of Track Spacer, or maybe you have Track Spacer. But yeah, just done in Patcher. Patcher's super powerful. I love it. Also got another limiter, which is doing some compression, sidechain compression, that is. And then this, just a clip, so limiter number 6. Every time you see a limiter number 6 in my project, I've turned everything off, set it to clipping. So these are all bypassed, just digital.
Is that a free plugin as well or not?
That is free. Limiter number 6,
awesome.
All free. Very little plugins I have that are not free. Serum is one of those not free plugins. So sidechain bus, sub bus, subs also being sidechained and clipped, although it rarely hits the clipper. This is being super loud. It goes to the chain bus, which has another clipper on it. Goes straight to the pre-master, which is just my master channel. There's nothing actually affecting the volume on my master channel. Yes, then they get clipped together. Then vocals and drums get sent straight into that pre-master. So everything's clipped except vocals and drums.
All right, and then how about your playlist tracks? What do you have as your like default on here?
Oh yeah, so I've got the master locked, so my master automation there. So if I'm automating like the tempo, which you would often do for mixes, habit I got into again thanks to mostrino. So if I solo anything else, they're soloed as well. Super helpful. Got my vocals here, effects here, anything that isn't vocals, effects, and drums, and then drums here at the bottom, and then I might put some reference tracks down the very bottom here. So my first idea, and we'll see if this works, we'll kind of just, usually what I do with ideas, I'll just throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks. So I know I'm here is at 190 BPM. So if we think about that as 95, divided by 2, so think of it as 95. I'm thinking of doing something in triplets. So there's a little technique that Moonrune showed me using gross beat. But to see what tempo it's going to become, if I put it in triplets, I'm just going to multiply it by 4/3, which is of course the opposite of 3/4, which is like what we'll have when I put it in triplets, which I think I explained that very poorly, but I promise it will make sense in a second. So that's going to come to 126.666 recurring, so I'll say 0.667. So I'll just type that in there, and then what we'll do, hit time, auto detect, type in BPM, we'll put 95, because divided by 2, that's half time, and we'll keep it on resample. So what that does, pitches it up, speeds it up. And like, well, why did you do that? Sounds goofy, But gonna get some gross beat up. I'm gonna gross this beat, am I right? So yeah, this is the thing that Moonrune showed me here. So you go scroll through the presets until you see slow triplet, and then if I put it on here, this is the magic. What?
Yeah. Like, that's just nuts.
Think about how long that would have taken me if I did it manually. So again, massive shout out to Moonrunes for that technique. And yeah, so gross beat automatically pitches it down. It's about 5 semitones, but not exactly. So if you have perfect pitch, you might notice if I like kept the tempos the same and just hit stretch into the warp modes, and then you probably would hear some interesting artifacts. So that's why I'm keeping it on resample.
When I was doing the video on stems and stem separation, the one that I recommended was melody.ml, but I've since learned about this other website called MVSEP. I can put the link in the description, where this one, unlike melody.ml, it's completely free. You can split as many things as you want, 100% free, and it has like basically every algorithm, well, not every algorithm, but it has a very large, diverse selection of algorithms, and it lets you output in waves, so it's a very powerful website, all completely free. So, yeah, definitely one worth checking out.
Hard out. All right, where are we here? Just in case you're wondering what I'm doing here, I just want to keep that intro the same.
Yeah, keep the iconic intro.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Haha!
Already off to a nuts start.
Wait. That's major, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now there's a couple of, because obviously it's jumping, you'll hear a little bit of low-end artifacting kind of thing. So we'll deal with that later. I should really be pulling up M catalog here.
True.
A great I don't know if you want to link that in the description, if that's like a public thing.
I'll throw that in as well.
If you're looking to find out any information about any Monster Cat songs, that's what you're going to want to have a look at there. Alright, I'm just going to save those for later. Those are the stems I did from the Demkus 3 Extra. So first things I can think of, Are We Still Young is in the same key. And I know Constellations is in a similar key. It's
Yeah, and
in
Constellations has
E
that
major,
swing going on, doesn't it?
and it is swung. Yes.
Hmm.
So, okay, that's 180 swung, 180 triplets in E major. Now I'm about to do some horrible maths and even more horrible stretching here.
Or actually, yeah, let's talk about this right now while we're on the topic of stretching. What are your preferred stretch modes for different cases?
Great question. So if I'm just messing around trying to test different stretches, I'll keep it on stretch because
Yeah, since
you
that one's
can.
instant.
Yeah, it's instant. If I have on E3 generic, for example, it takes ages to load.
Hmm.
If I'm not doing any tempo changes, E3 generic. Usually, again,
Okay.
if it doesn't sound that good on E3 generic, I'll test through a few to see what sounds best. I find E3 generic usually does sound the best.
Hmm.
Stretch sounds better in some cases. Sometimes E2 generic, sometimes E3 mono, or speech is a really interesting one. If I'm going to mess around with something, but I want to keep the bass sound the same, but keep all the high end move the high end up. It works for like singular bass shots.
Yeah.
Not as much for whole tracks. So we'll keep this on stretch for now. So that's E major. I'm going for D sharp. So down, and that's 180 as well. But we're gonna want it to be much quicker, aren't we? So we're thinking that call that 90. So 1000 BPM, go 90. Okay. Okay, so I know you're probably thinking that sounds awful, but I'll sometimes just play two songs together just to see what they sound like and see if I can pick
Yeah.
out any elements. Maybe if I want to mash them together, just or melody match, or see what I want to do with them.
Yeah, exactly.
I am gonna stem out constellations using that AI software. I'm gonna bring them in, and then I'm gonna make these stems all triplets. Then I'm gonna see if I can stick them together in any way.
Well, in the meantime, I can just ask you questions that aren't related to the specific mix, but mixes in general.
For sure.
Especially keeping in mind that you're most likely going to be an elite judge in the next season.
That would be exciting.
One question I could ask you would be what would be the biggest things that you'd be looking for when listening through mixes?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably gonna suck as an answer, but overall cleanliness. I feel like people want to hear me say like really cool mashups or super sick edits, and I absolutely do want to hear those things. Of course, who doesn't want to hear those? But I think hearing like an overall like polished standard of mix from top to bottom, that's something I'll be keeping an ear out for sure. Because I think it's easy enough to put some drums over a couple of different songs and chop them up a little bit and make them sound real cool. But getting it to sound consistent with the rest of the mix and keeping that quality up, that's probably something I'll be looking for.
So when it comes to like overall cleanliness for mixes, what would you say would be like the biggest pitfalls or traps that you'd warn people against falling into?
Ooh, that's a good question. Keeping an eye on your high end, I think, is important. I think people know to keep an eye on their low end, on their sub region already. But just those high frequencies can very easily get muddy. Making sure to eliminate mud where possible. I just think it's super easy to turn up the high end when you want it to sound brighter. But if you turn down the high end on a lot of things, it's like the Jaws 7K rule. You don't want everything up in there, and it just gets a bit cluttered and a bit compressed, and can sound kind of yucky sometimes.
When it came to your tenure on the mix contest as a competitor, as a person who was competing, what do you think you did that was the most helpful to improving the quality of your mixes?
Oh, damn! You got some good questions. I definitely noticed that I was forced to improve over the time, just listening to other people's mixes and going through and hearing what other people were doing. and it just made me like want to do more and want to make it better. So I think just listening to your peers, like talking to your friends, finding people like who do this kind of stuff and just seeing what they do, which I guess is exactly what this video is about. Super helpful.
Yeah.
Just talking to people again, like talking to my fellow competitors and learning what they did, like how Moon showed me this growth speed trick and I'm using it today. Like, find what makes someone else cool and then don't do that. Like if you see someone like doing something really cool, you're like, oh man, that's so cool. That's what makes them, you know. That's how you know that's a Baldie mix, that's a Mostrino mix, that's a whoever. And just figure out what you can do to make it sound like you. You don't need to have like a gimmick, you know. Sometimes it's just how your mixes sound, like the quality of it. Like you'll know if you're listening to like a Leo Tricks track or a Pixel Terror track or a Boss Fight track. They all have their sounds, their mixing styles. Something in the synth, something in the mastering chain, whatever it is, it sounds like them. And if you can tap into that thing that sounds like you, then power to you, all the better, I reckon. I'll E3 generic them or something. I'll edit it once I've a little bit more.
Yeah, and what's really convenient about this is now that you have it stemmed out, you can use different stretching algorithms on different stems of the tracks. You can tailor it exactly to what it needs.
Yep, exactly.
And what are you using to slide them like that? Because I usually just press like group up. How do you slide it so seamlessly like that?
Like this?
Yeah.
I'm holding shift and scrolling. Okay. All right. Let's just play them all at once and take them out when we feel like it. Sounds a bit there. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere with that. Alright. Baldie mixing tip number 1.
Alright.
You hear that subs nicely crunching that? Oh yeah. So obviously those are being chopped, so we want to get rid of that clicky low end stuff going on there. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, have a look. See that jumping up and down? Yeah, I'll see a little bit there as well.
How do you determine how much low end to cut, like the frequency of the filter?
Good question. Usually I'll put it up until it sounds bad and then put it back down. That sounds like it's cutting off a bit much. There we go. Maybe do that a little bit. Just a compressor. Very free as well. And I'm not too stressed about the settings. Sometimes I'll just slam stuff. Like, again, it's a mix, it's a mashup, and I'm doing, I want to make it a bit quick as well for time. Maybe that's not even the best section to do that with. Chop that in beats, I reckon. Handle tip there if you weren't already aware. So then what I can do, I can just...
Okay.
Oh, hello. Alright. Well, so let's just...
So do you want to tell people what that just did?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, you'll notice there, if I take that off, no bleeding, you don't have those cool little fade lines there, and sometimes they can give you some little pops. I mean, I don't want clicks. Clicks are bad. Duel will crucify you if they hear a click, so watch it out. Oftentimes you will get a little bit of that first note of the next one. Yeah, which can sound more like a click. But so usually what I'll do in these situations is just drag it back like that on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could just try some of my own drums in this,
Right.
because I'm not super happy with how either of these. Great drums, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
on both parts. Very different styles, of course, but I don't think either of them suit what I'm doing exactly. Yeah, I quite like the pattern of this one. The sort of 4 to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
But I quite like all the cymbals in this one. So I might just try and make a wee bit of a hybrid there. And making drums can take a bit of time and be a bit boring, so we'll see how much of this stays in. But
Yeah, and just as an aside here, you're perfectly allowed to use your own drums or your own synths in the mix contest now. So this, what Baldie's doing right here is perfectly legal.
so just what I'm doing there, sidechaining my kick to
Mhm.
my sidechain bus. So claps. Yeah, do this loop for now. Doesn't sound like it fits well right now. So these claps technically tuned, but what I'm really after there is that kind of that little.
Yeah, like the pre-snare.
Yeah, exactly. Taking out that low end there. Oh, how nice that high end sounds with the EQ, and then you know that note shining through. Little hat, another just white noise. It's like 3x oscillator and an EQ just to make that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds a bit nice. So for drums, I like to adjust the pitch here, of course, because I don't want to, put it in a warp mode. And if I want to change the timing, I can just use that, for example.
Yeah.
That'll do for now. First I should go over here and click. Let's go 1/3 beat. So there we go. Because it's in triplets.
Yeah, now that lines it up to the triplets.
So yeah, little grid trick there. Definitely needs a cymbal on that first one, doesn't it? That's quite a nice one. That's really what I'm looking for. A little stem from emoji there as well.
Nice.
I need a bit more of a punch on that clap. Yeah. Okay.
Alright, talk about this.
So Transpire is a transient shaping plugin, because I just want that transient to hit a bit harder. So for those who don't know, the transient is like the first initial hit of a sound. You can see very clearly where that transient is. Just that, that first little bit before the rest of the kick comes in. That punch. It focuses on that part of the sound. You'll hear how it's taken away, that transient. But yeah, I'm making it punch you in the face and slap you in the nuts.
Also, just so that people know, what are you using so that you can select all those samples from the keyboard?
Holding Control and then left clicking. Doing all that, and then if I hold Shift and drag, it makes a copy. just hit delete to delete those.
And while we're on the topic of keyboard workflow tips, what do you use to just mute tracks from the keyboard, or mute clips, I mean?
Oh yeah, hold the right Alt button. I don't think it works. Doesn't work with the left Alt, but the right Alt. Big. Oh man, that's like my #1 life-saving workflow tip. That helped me. And then over here, I'm gonna get a little bit of action going on. So I'll just put the clip in there, so it's in my folder. But I'm just gonna go into MIDI. So it's here. And then we're going to make sure that's in triplets as well, because you've got to do that separately.
Yeah.
Get a bit of this going on.
All right. First of all, talk about what you're doing, and then also talk about how you're doing it with the keyboard.
So, change the velocity. Essentially the gain or the volume, same kind of deal there, of each individual hit to get that more kind of natural flow.
Yeah, accent some parts and less accent others.
Exactly, so I'm just holding left click and scrolling. There we go.
Okay, well, what are we doing here?
Oh yeah, sorry, got it carried away. So I'm convolving. Convolving is just my favorite stock reverb that comes with FL, probably my favorite reverb full stop. But I'm adding it here just so it doesn't sound so chopped.
Gotcha.
I want it to sound like it's part of the song, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I love these little reverses here from the Orbit sample pack. Yeah, I use them all the time.
And also, as a little bit of a tip while relating to splice, a lot of Monster Cat tracks themselves use splice samples. So you could use those samples and count it as inclusion of the track.
Very, very true. Time to practice what I preach. You may have noticed I just switched the order there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the order does matter.
And I mean, yeah, there are a lot of examples where it's a pretty huge difference. Like, especially with like reverbs and distortions, putting one before the other can completely change the sound.
For sure. Again, like just having a specific routing that you use all the time, that can help give you your sound. If you use the same kind of plugins and stuff, it's not that you're being boring, it's that you're sticking to your sound.
Talk to me honestly.
Alright, I'll explain later.
Which is good, because this is our first instance of automation this session.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just adding a little bit of effect there. So again, automating the reverb mix level here before the compressor, because I want it to get compressed all at once. Without it, it just sounds a bit empty. It sounds like it fades out. And I could just automate the volume up, but so yeah, just kind of solving a problem with a more creative solution as opposed to like just automating volume up.
Yeah, awesome.
So it does sound like it's trailing out still, but in style.
When would you opt for Supermassive? When would you opt for the Convolver? Or is it just kind of whatever?
I think the different reasons is like different sounds I'm going for, because each reverb has like a particular sound to them or a style.
Yeah.
But just familiarizing yourself with a few different styles of different plugins. You won't necessarily want to use the same distortion plugin for every instance. And same with reverb, same with EQ. I'm pretty terrible at using this for most things. I use parametric EQ1 sometimes if I want to save CPU. Or sometimes I use this EQ here. And the difference between transient bleeding and generic bleeding is that transient is not at the start, but is only at the end. So you might do it for drum hits, for example. Let's see, cymatics, open the dreaded cymatics folder. So we end on a D sharp there. So it kind of rolls off.
Because we're in D sharp major.
We are in D sharp major, and right click T and then type the numbers in. That's the quick way.
Yeah, super quick.
You know what I haven't done?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The classic
reverse kick.
Yeah.
We're on the same
You knew
wavelength.
as soon as I was going over
as soon as you said, you know what I haven't done, I knew it, but I was just waiting to say it.
This kick here, it's free Disciple Christmas Sample Pack Volume 3 Virtual Riot kick. Make wobs not war. Because of that low end there, just how it pulls you in to that first beat. Of course, got to get rid of that transient a little bit. Sometimes you might want to do both. Not too much. Or is it? We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you can always change it, at least before you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, let's have a listen.
Yeah.
Talk to me honestly.
Okay, well that sounds a bit stink there, but immediately sounds quiet though. So what I did there, I was just looking at where the frequencies are hitting
Talk to me.
the most in this part. So you can use the parametric EQ. So I can hear it's pretty strong around here. That's pretty powerful. A little bit over here, but mostly that's where you're feeling it, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're listening to the track, that's what the strength is. And it's just lacking a little bit there. And I might even just...
Talk to me.
I might just cheat.
Talk to me.
A Pepsi bottle? A Coca-Cola glass? I don't give a darn. Check me out. I pull it all the way down. I don't care. What do I got to lose? Oh, I'm gonna have to explain that, aren't I? Okay.
Oh, okay. You don't have to be verbose about it. You can just...
So, sorry, that wasn't me complaining. I genuinely do love doing this. Sorry.
Okay.
No, I was just making a joke. Okay, so linear phase mode. Basically, if I don't want to affect the phase of things, you just hit linear mode, and then it will look exactly the same phase-wise printed out. I'm not explaining this. I'm explaining this very poorly. Honestly, it's just a feeling. It's a vibe that I get. There's a technical reason. Yeah, this has got a linear phase vibe. The vibe is putting on linear phase. I feel like once you get to the point where you kind of know what stuff does, you can just forget about it, which is like a weird phenomenon, you know? Like, for so many years, you're just learning about what stuff does and trying to figure out what all those buttons do. You press this button, it changes nothing. You hear no difference except that little clock turns on. You're like, why is that happening?
Yeah.
And then you just kind of figure it out one day, or you watch a Fox Stevenson video explaining phase. Watch Fox Stevenson videos explaining phase. Just he's so knowledgeable. And then you can just go off vibes. This is what I think. The terrible advice. Maybe, yeah, sorry to anyone watching this, going, okay, I'm work off vibes and writing that down in your little notepad, which I would be doing if I was watching this kind of videos and trying to get into mixing. Which is also why I have this. I love having my notes on the master. If you got like a bunch of songs, so I've got like, I'm here, D sharp maj.
This is also useful because for the mix contest, you have to provide track lists. So having that already there makes it much less of a hassle when you're doing it at the very end.
Exactly. This has been a good little break for my ears, so I can have another listen.
Yeah.
Want to take some regular air breaks.
Yeah, actually, yeah, great advice that we haven't even brought up yet is, I mean, yeah, the whole ear fatigue thing. Sometimes when you get too used to your mix or your mashup, it's harder to tell what's missing and what's overbearing. So yeah, taking those ear breaks can give you like a completely like fresh perspective.
Exactly. I don't want to have the same song already in my head when I'm playing it. I want it to
Yeah.
surprise me a little bit, and I want to go, oh, that sounds like shit. Why did I ever make that? And then I want to change it. All right, I've forgotten what the song sounds like already. That's what I want. Oh, let's get a little pop at the beginning. Okay, and immediately I'm noticing all the pops.
Talk to me honestly.
Okay, that actually sounded way better than I thought it would.
I mean, that's a W. You love when that happens.
That does not usually happen, and maybe I'm just making it happen. For
You're
me.
just really hoping it happens because if you don't like it, it's too late.
Yeah. Because this would usually be the, well, maybe a little bit earlier. I would just listen to it and decide if I actually wanted to do that idea. I could still get to the stage and decide I will do nothing with this. Either way, I'm going to soldier on, but I still think it's pretty cool. Okay, while Mostrino's gone, I'm using OTT. Do not tell him that I used OTT. I know. It messes with the phase a little bit, but I think in some circumstances, I just want to compress multiband. So, shh, don't tell him. A little bit of delay. I love a bit of delay. This sounds about right. Yeah, so you can see how I've tried to combine those vibes together, but put my own little flavor on it. So the reason I'm not doing a whole lot of chopping or anything, more like layering editing, is because I've already... Oh, hello! Is because I'm already speeding up Constellations so much. It's quite chaotic and it's a bit fast, and if I'm doing like all these quick little fills and edits, I don't want to overcomplicate it and jumble it up a little bit more.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry that I jump scare you every time I get back. I just don't want to like interrupt when I get back.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, that reminds me. In the 2021 season of the Mix Contest, Rocket Man did demo streams on the Monster Cat Twitch channel, and he would have different people as guests. One of the guests was Protostar, and Protostar gave some advice that really stuck with me, where it's like, when it comes to your mixes and your mashups, if it's too predictable, then it's boring and people aren't engaged. But if it's too unpredictable, then it's too random and people can't stick with it. So you have to find that sort of middle ground where you're still like twisting people's expectations, but not to such a degree where they can't follow what you're doing anymore, you know?
Yeah, hard out. Absolutely, that's huge advice. So usually when I use span, I'm looking at the bass, the sub, and it depends on the style, depends on the type of song, but if my bass goes above -30, I'll try to like watch out for that, maybe turn it down a little bit. Just keeping it slightly below, I find is a good setting. Okay, I'm just going to put a pin in this section for now.
All right.
Let's see what we have next.
Now we can do a little bit of non-drop treatment, you know?
Yeah.
I feel so far away. I don't
What a nice drop, though.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna make unique here, which means if I assign this part to a different mixer slot, it doesn't affect the other part. So cut off. We just got. It's basically just putting a filter on only the wet.
Yeah. And you've got it panning from left to right. That
Of
little
course.
ping pong effect.
Yeah.
I don't know when I changed.
Okay. So. No, I don't need that much. I'll just delete that. And now you're thinking, what's he
Yeah,
building
that's
over
what I'm
there? If we go slice X. Thank you. That's what I'm
Yeah,
after.
gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
We
this will be
might-
really interesting because I've never ever used this for a mix or a mashup. So seeing how you go about this will be excellent.
Oh,
Excellent content.
this is new for me too.
Oh.
So let's just auto slice a medium.
This has so much potential. This was a genius idea. This is already so cool. I'm so excited about this. Like, this is just so much faster and more efficient than chopping it up in the playlist.
Ah, damn it. Oh, wait.
Genius.
Ooh. Haha!
Genius. Genius.
Okay, but we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, like this, I already think sounds nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, I'm making this too good. I should have saved this for something else. All right.
Yeah.
I
Can't
should've
be
done
going
this
so
in the-
hard on a silly
Yeah,
video.
I
No.
should have done this for the mix contest. Why did I only think of this now? How could I?
I mean, hey, I am so glad that I was witnessing the inception of this idea. I think that this is really what's gonna make this whole like series so special, is seeing things like this. So I'm just glad to be here for it.
Yeah.
This is gonna be such a banger. This is gonna be so good.
Oh, it's kind of nice. That's right. Switching it up.
Okay.
I kind of want a silly 808. And the best place to get silly 808s is actually cymatics again. Drums 808.
I mean, that's true.
Usually I cannot be bothered. I'll just do that. Oh, it's C sharp. Okay, it's 5. C. And it's just so much quicker than just doing the maths in my head.
Yeah,
or
less
just,
thinking.
or just being perfect, like I'm sure a lot of you watching are. You're like, oh, I could just figure that out on my own. Well, I hate you, so shut up. That's right. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I love you. Okay.
Baldie is like has a personal vendetta against all of you guys submitting, so you better watch out. You
Yeah,
better
yeah. Everyone has like perfect pitch. just you're the worst.
You're never gonna make it on the mix contest now
Because
that Baldie's
no,
judge. He has anything to say about it.
that's not what I'm saying. It's what I'm implying. Oh. I don't like that yet. And this is where I get to use this magical plugin. Feels
Yeah,
like
finally, this one makes like an actual proper appearance.
feels like an episode of Blue's Clues with Mickey Mouse. Like, it's very much Chekhov's gun, right? I showed all these things at the start, and now I'm using them. That's kind of sick already.
Oh, that's like doing the same thing, isn't it? Was that intentional, or is that just like a perfect
No.
coincidence? Wow, this is working so well. That's actually crazy.
This is the kind of thing I would spend a lot of time working on. Which usually I would go, oh yeah, you might want to cut it out because it'd be boring, but I guess that's exactly the kind of thing you're wanting to show here, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, go at it. Just do your normal Baldie thing, but this time on camera.
Wait. Okay, I didn't even think about it in context. That sounds like butt cheeks. That sounds like ass. That sounds like poop. Am I really gonna do what I think that I'm gonna do? Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. What other choice do I have? I'm just gonna fucking do it. There we go.
Let's go! W plugin? Oh my. Yeah, now you can really hear the effect on that hat. True?
Oh, you reckon?
I mean, do what you want to do. I don't want to influence your decision. That one just kind of slipped out.
Nah, I think you're right. That was funny.
Okay, cool.
Hot tip. Save preset as, and then chain bus, and then delete that one because you don't want it. And then just right click link, and then limited mix level. Also want to make sure that is in it, so in its song position, in case you didn't cover it before, means that it starts off down instead of starting off up, because we don't want it starting off up, we only want it up for that very short. Oh, that's way better.
Yeah.
And we know what's missing. You know what's missing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's humor, friend. I want a big hat.
Okay.
Well, yeah, why not?
Okay. A little bit of Haas effect.
Yeah, let's see how it sounds in mono. Not great. Oh yeah, by the way, little trick. Keep them like a mono mix on the master, so just preset and go mid.
Yeah, just so you can reference it in mono.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, here's a silly question for you. When you're listening to people's mixes as a judge, Will you do a mono reference, or are you just going to be listening in stereo?
I have not thought about that yet. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Basically, just finalists that don't consider their mono mixes sleep with one eye open.
That's not what I'm saying, but it's heavily implied. Just to store it in the hats, I want a bit of a different high end.
Okay.
It's very happiness edit vibes,
True,
I
true.
think is what people might like about it.
It's very fitting that we got something in that sort of realm for this video. Hopefully, leaves a lot of people satisfied with what you're coming up with here.
For sure, for sure.
Ooh. Although I know when I say like run it back, it has like the connotation that we're done and we're not going to work on this anymore. I just feel like it's been a while since we've run the whole thing back.
No,
so
yeah,
just
important to
yeah.
check progress and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Not as like a finished product kind of deal.
Yeah, I get you.
Talk to me honestly. I'm I've been so far away. I don't know when I changed. Your voice replaying in my mind. I'm not prepared this time.
Great, displaying the note taking as well, because that's a super helpful. Because when you're hearing it back after not listening to it for a while, you notice a lot of things. But I feel like even on the second listen back, most of those things disappear. So you have to like write them down right away so that you don't like forget about them.
So when I first started mixing, I wasn't really looking at it through like a production lens. But then after hearing everyone else's submission mixes, I was like, oh my god, I gotta go hard, and I gotta start thinking about it like I'm producing a big old song, just sampling the tracks. So they kind of, my lens changed a little bit there. So then I've been mixing from the perspective of how I would produce. So a lot of those habits, like listening through the whole thing and just writing down what I want to fix, that's like a habit I've done from producing. So if you've been like making music for a while, making tunes, making beats, making film scores, whatever, like find those habits that you get into and see how you can incorporate them into the mix.
Have you had any habits that you've gotten from mixing and mashing that you've incorporated into your production, like the vice versa of what you're saying?
Oh, yes. Anything manipulating vocals. Again, that's been a lot of community help. Mr. and I actually worked on like a little patch of preset thing.
Oh yeah.
That
if you want to know more about that, join the Discord server. Link in below.
Yeah, yeah. Like and subscribe. Link below.
So true, so true, so true. Smash that like button.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was really fun to do, and that's something I'm definitely gonna want to like try more in my productions, like cool vocal manipulation and pitching techniques. That's definitely something
Yeah.
I've learned while doing mashing. But most of the things I learn, I just learn from other people. That's what it's all about.
Gotcha.
It's all about people in it.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to make that hat like sit in there like glue instead of stick out like a sore thumb. You know what? I might just convolve it.
Oh. What a wacky waveform. Did you make that one?
Yeah, so it's two barely alive down sweeps mixed together, and I put like I used the Fruity formula. No, I didn't. I used the Fruity peak controller to automate the volume of it.
Oh, like with the LFO mode?
Yeah, the LFO mode, and just linked it to a Fruity balance.
Yeah.
And then put like a little delay on it, and then automated that in. Just gives it that metallic sound. I'm trying to fill up my high end without compressing it too much. Usually this kind of project file, like, I would have stopped a while ago just for like ear fatigue reasons. But taking an hour away from doing a project is just as important as spending that hour on it.
Yeah, for the mix contest, you've got quick deadlines, but that doesn't mean that you can't take breaks. Just like you're saying, this is a special case where we're specifically trying to like record the whole process. So obviously we're not gonna like record the breaks, but I'm glad that you emphasize it because for your own mixes, being able to come in with a fresh set of ears is crucial to catching any mistakes or seeing things that you can improve with in your mix. You want to talk about what you just did there?
Yeah, just making a little slide so the 808 slides up a little bit before hitting that next note.
And for people who don't know, how'd you enable that slide function?
Oh yeah, double click and just hit slide.
Wait, also, do you have, in the MIDI, do you have resizing from left enabled?
No! What? How do I do?
Okay, yeah.
No way. Oh,
basically,
it's right there. It's
edit,
Bro.
allow resizing from left.
bro. I've been doing this for like 7 years.
I love
I
that.
might just leave. I might just quit
Perfect proof.
producing. I think I'm gonna switch to Ableton. It seems like the right decision. There are gonna be people in the comments going, "Yeah, he's gonna switch to Ableton. FL sucks. Ableton gang." Yeah. Might just pop a cheeky riser in there. There you go.
Yeah. Within that a lot. And we also got to see you use the goofy 3-band EQ live in action.
Exactly. As Crank That always says, you can't drop shit before we build it. So this is a cool trick. If you have your trigger like this, then you can use the volume knob to adjust how much it's actually triggering. So
Yeah,
if
you change the depth of the sidechain.
yeah, if I keep it like normal, then it's just triggering the same amount as it's playing. But if I turn it down, it's just sidechaining a little bit less. Fun little.
Yeah,
little tip there.
big tip, awesome tip. And similarly, if you guys are doing volume automation with something like Fruity Balance, you can automate the mix of the Fruity Balance to get the same effect.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen this one before, kids, that's just type and then A and then V. So automate volume. You can do the same with panning and just inside the sample itself.
Well, I would definitely not imagine you'd want to automate the mixer level.
Never.
But then,
I look, to each their own. I would never automate these because, I used to. That's how I started off.
mhm.
But when it comes to like mixing something down, and you've got something automating, you have to mix it like inside it. It's disgusting. It's gross.
Mm.
You know how it is. You already know. You already know.
Do you want to say really briefly what it is?
Yeah. Just a little bit of a high pass there. Very classic standard technique there. I just don't want all that low end energy of the kick hitting right before the drop, because I want it to pull you in. You're like, oh, where's that bass going? See here, it's going. That bass is going. Where's it? It's drop it. It drops here. This is where the bass is going. It's here. That's
what they call dropping the bass.
Yeah, back in I believe December 23rd, 2011. You could fact check me on this. Skrillex dropped the Bangarang EP, and that shit changed lives, mine especially. And I was like, I want to learn how to drop the bass. So then I started watching mostrino tutorial videos featuring Baldie, and now I can drop the bass like a pro. That could be your story.
I would say there's, like if something doesn't have a rhythm or a pitch, you can almost always get away with just keeping it on resample.
Exactly. You see it like printing out your effects.
Mm-hmm. I honestly feel like just the few adjustments you made here in this build-up made the drop sound so much better.
Right? We can't drop shit unless we build it.
I mean, yeah, I feel like people need to take that to heart, because if you're not happy with your drop, it might be because of the drop, but also maybe it's because of the context you place the drop in.
Oh.
And if you build around it, it can take it to the next level without even touching the drop.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's it. Music is all about context. This is
Yeah, this is what we've got from session 1.
Talk to me honestly. I'm
Yeah, just splendid. I'm so happy that we've been able to get. Well, I say we, but it was really all you. That you've pulled together what you've pulled together so far. Like this is truly.
Damn. Okay, I was more happy with that than I thought I would be, but I did write notes. I'm just gonna get this down. I said right. Hang on, I'm gonna put them down very quickly. Okay. So because I couldn't write notes, I held one of my fingers up and just tried to remember a word from each finger.
Uh-huh.
So I for the first part, I knew I wanted to tease Grant song and build.
Great idea. Excellent idea.
Transition out of the drop better. Riser.
Another big one, yeah.
That's going to be a quick fix, but I'm not going to touch it for continuity reasons.
All right.
That's another little
Awesome.
thing. Oh, hi-hat I think is fixed enough, but if I notice it again, whatever make Vox better, still got to do that. I did a bit of that. I haven't done that. Still haven't done that. Teasing is a very important part. If you just bring a new song into the drop, it can sound cool, but sometimes it can be a little bit unexpected. So if you just get a tiny sliver of the sounds and pop it in the builds, like a little melody or something, a little synth, so people know what's coming a little bit, that can be a bit fun too.
Yeah.
So it's not so much of a shock.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll dive more into that in the next session, I guess. Yeah. Signing off. Be back in part 2. And we're fucking live, and Mostrino
Let's go.
just now taught me how to do this. Insane. Far out.
So true. But just so you guys know, nothing has been touched since the last session.
Okay, so I'm just going to try and go through my notes. Look at drums of the first B section.
Is Fruity Reverb your go-to for drum reverbs, or is that also just case by case?
Oh, actually, yeah, drum reverb usually free reverb. Interesting that you noticed that, actually. Yeah. Top bot, I reckon. Yeah, that's a bit nicer. Hot tip: if you're trying to get two samples phase perfect synced up in the playlist, and you can't quite match them up, like when you drag it slightly too far to the right or slightly too far to the left, you can't get in the middle, change your time-based PPQ and turn it up. It messes up your CPU, so don't leave it on all the time. But yeah, if you turn it up and scroll in, you might be able to line up your things a little bit smoother. It just lowers the increment.
Okay, this is interesting because we haven't seen you pop out the dimension expander yet. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, it's free. I got it ages ago. It's basically a chorus and 2 knobs because I'm a simple man. I'm not very clever. I only need 2 knobs. There's too many knobs in the world, too many knobs on my plugins, and I just would like to keep it simple. Dry, wet, and size. Done. On and off button as well. Yeah, that sounds more natural, I think. I like bandpass usually. Oh yeah, that's nice.
And also, just in case people don't know, can you talk about the difference between the input wet knob and the output wet knob?
Yes. Oh my goodness, huge difference. When I first started producing, I didn't really get it. I was like, oh, I could just use these interchangeably. So, when I'm automating, I'll usually automate the input wet knob because it's automating the volume of what's going into the delay. So if I only want to delay the end sound, so let's say you got a vocal, it's going like can't let go, and you just want that go delayed. You want it to be like can't let go, 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 go. You automate this knob on the go. If you automate this knob on the go, it's going to be like can't let go, can't let go, can't. It's going to automate the volume of the entire delay post delaying. So you won't hear any delay until you automate it up. Then you hear all the words delayed, which can be a cool effect. But if you're just wanting to get that last word there, then yeah, use this, which is what I'm doing here, just that last little phrase. Also, you'll notice I mess with the filter a lot. I like bandpass a lot because it's both high and low pass, and I can just affect the resonance there, how tight I want it to be.
Yeah, and you've got the panning action as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Just a little bit of ping pong. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, and another thing that I think is really neat that you're doing, which we kind of haven't, like, you're kind of just doing it by default, but the way that you kind of, like, test out the automation before you actually make the automation clip is really helpful as well.
It's funny that you picked that up. I never... Yeah, I guess I do totally do that. Yeah, sometimes doing stuff manually can be just a bit good without having to commit. Yeah, I just decided I only wanted a bit of reverb in that little bit there. Okay, so... So I want to automate it on here, and then I'll automate it off at the end. Oh, there we go. So I can't hear that reverb coming back up to bite me.
Exactly.
Just make it a bit smooth. And you can do this on like full tracks as well. This is a great like handy tip when transitioning between tracks. Or basically all of these things above, as you don't just have to do it on your drums. Oh, that's kind of tasty. Now, what do I want to do in this section? Make Vox better. That's what I wanted to do. Very descriptive. Terrible feedback to give someone, but to give yourself if you know what you mean, that's okay. Yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like that kind of delay feels like something they do in the original track, which is why I think it's so sick.
That's what I was
Instead of
thinking.
just slapping delay on the whole thing with no automation.
Yeah, but that's exactly why I did it, because I felt like it would make it fit more with that backing. Right, and what I'm going to do there, you're like, why did you do that? Oh, that, maybe. Were you like, why did you do that? Was that what you were like?
I think I know what you're gonna do, but maybe the viewers were asking.
And then we just do a little bit of this, and then a little bit of none of that. No, thank you. So this plug, the fast LP, isn't naturally saved to the plugin window. I had to find it like specifically, and I think I hit F8 and then fast LP. But it's just so I don't have to pull an EQ up every time. Link to controller, and then fast LP that we just made, that automation, and then just hit inverted. And the great thing about that is that you can change the formula, so we'll see if it sounds good. It's a bit much resonance. I want a bit less. So sometimes I mess around, go like minus 0.5. Ah. So what that does there is that when the cutoff is at its minimum, instead of the resonance being at its maximum, which is a bit much for me, it's only at 50%. So I can make that 0.7, so it's minus, and that dot there is very important. So I can do 0.7, and then I'll be at 30%, so like the inverse. So if I go like 0.3, yeah. But that click is why I do that, because sometimes it's slightly off when it starts, even if they're exactly aligned. That's why I do that. I know I said vibes before, but
But there's an actual reason, yeah.
There's an actual reason. Oh, whoops.
Like, this one I definitely take notes on, because teasing tracks like this can make a massive difference in the mix.
Those transients are going to be the death of me.
Is this something that you could use Transpire to fix, or no?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, maybe. Yo.
And I don't know if we mentioned this last time, but Transpire is also free, isn't it?
Yes, extremely so. Ha ha! You're a genius. What? Usually I would use this plugin here called Panman to do what I'm about to do. But because I know not everyone can afford the Sound Toys bundle, and I myself cannot afford the Sound Toys bundle at its current price.
Yeah.
Because I got it when it was on sale and I had like a student discount. But I know we have free Panomatic here, which does basically the same thing. So
Yeah. And also, if you want one that is a little bit more feature rich but also free, Cable Guys has a plugin called Pancake that's really good as well, and has an amazing name.
I do have that one if you want to see what it looks like. There we go.
Yeah.
It looks prettier. But there we go. Real stock here. Oh, that's perfectly subtle. But it could be slightly less subtle. And I know you'll be saying, well, you just said it was perfectly subtle, but then you could improve it. Well, you can always improve perfection, and that is how I keep getting better. Because I know I'm perfect, but I know I can always improve perfection.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So yeah, this is without that little tease in there. And now with
And I can almost guarantee you that the judges are gonna like, if you are like submitting for the mix contest and you do a teasing track like that, it's not gonna go unnoticed. So it's definitely worth it.
Very true. Very true. So I can cut out that. I made the Vox a bit better. I can look at them again. I've looked at those. This I will do later. Tease, Grant, and Build. Oh, I did that.
Yeah.
Transition out better. Riser faded more. Right. This riser. That little guy. So yeah, that's what you got to be wary of, especially, you know, I'm just going to pull it there. There we go. How good's that? Yeah, you got to be wary of that for especially like splitted acapellas. But even if you get the stems and you can hear like a little pop that was masked by the instrumental of the previous track, yeah, definitely cut that up because it gets noticed.
Yeah, it definitely might not be masked by the new track, especially if you're doing like an acapella, like if you're using like an acapella over like an acoustic background or like something that's like light instruments and not a drop, then the artifacts are a lot more noticeable.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you like comping the vocal for like a big EDM track, Sure, you can go to the trouble of masking all those little bits, but you also kind of don't need to. A lot of the time, the instrumental hides it. So yeah, if you're doing like a real stripped down version of the instrumental, you do want to kind of watch out for that. Oh, that's right. Transition out better. That was that transition. And riser fade in more. Oh.
We're basically there. We're almost there. This is really coming together nicely.
I can't make that sound good, so I won't. That's another good thing. If you can't make something sound good, don't put it in.
Yep. Excellent advice.
Something that was definitely hard for me to grasp initially was that, like, if I had a sound that I really wanted to put in but I couldn't, like, just mix it to my liking, I would basically bury it so you couldn't hear it, but you could feel it, I thought. But sometimes there are things like that that you don't necessarily pick out, but you can feel. But definitely know when you're putting something in because you think it sounds good on its own, as opposed to because you think it genuinely complements the track and genuinely helps it.
Yeah. Better to try to make something good and succeed than to try to make something great and fail.
Ooh. That's great. That's banger. That's a banger.
Let's go.
Yes, we could end the video there. That's all they need to know. Yeah, basically exactly that. But applying to mixing specifically, if you're thinking, oh, I can add another track here, like, oh, this section's just got one track, I could put like another track underneath, I could layer something over. If it doesn't make it sound better, if it doesn't add to it, don't add it. Just let the track play.
Exactly.
I don't know if there are any examples of me doing that here, but maybe the start. I think having this with like another song layered in immediately, if I put like another acapella over the top, just because I could, I don't think it would work.
Yeah. Like, it would be especially too much because that's two surprises at once.
Yeah, exactly. You can surprise them one at a time. Okay. This is exactly what I wanted to avoid, but sometimes it has to be done.
Also, you know about the right-clicking for the cut tool, right?
So, Moonrunes did tell me about it, but I forgot up until this moment.
Oh, yeah, maybe it comes a little
far out. Oh, I'm gonna cry every time you give me a workflow tip. I just feel so stupid. I feel like an idiot. But that's what this is for, because
it's a shared learning experience. I mean, I can tell you that there's a lot of stuff that you've done here that I wouldn't have thought of.
Okay, so if you're thinking, what, Baldie, why did you do that? That's just the same thing as that. That sounds exactly the same. There's probably even more audio clicks. Wow.
Yeah, it's the secret sauce.
And I will have to do the vocals separately. Oh, I could have done them at the same time. Oh, that would have saved me so much time. You live and you learn, because
Exactly.
I'm living. Not only am I living, I'm learning.
But you're learning.
Exactly right. It sounds like it's so late where I am because of how I'm speaking, but it's 8 p.m. I'm clearly delirious already. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost your bedtime, I'm sure.
You're not wrong. Wait, what? I never knew that was in there.
Me neither. That's crazy.
Talk to me honest.
By the way, in case you guys watching didn't know, the reason why all of Baldie's cut lines are completely perfectly vertical is because he's holding shift.
Oh, yes, he is. Thank you for that. Wait. Whack.
Oh, watch out.
Oh, thank you. Good spot.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh man, it's froze. Oh no.
It's kind of funny how many like just straight up practical advantages there are of having like someone watch while you're doing something. Like a lot of this I wouldn't have thought of.
I was just gonna say that. So top producer tip, voice chat Mostrino, and then have him point out all the things that you're doing completely wrong. And
I've got to start doing this too though. Like next time I try and make like a mix or like a banger, I've got to get you on the call because there's so many times when I make mistakes and I don't realize until like 15 minutes later and it sets me back like half an hour. It would be so convenient.
I don't really like how that sounds.
So I might as well ask, just so that you can console the gross beat enjoyers. When would you say it's a better idea? Like, when do you think gross beat's reliable? Is essentially my question for the triplet trick.
When you're gonna mix it with something else and bury it, honestly.
Gotcha.
Talk to me honestly. Talk to me honestly.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that as well.
So this is another thing I wanted to fix.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So holding Alt and getting the slip mode on there.
Yes. Alt makes it so that it's not like by the grid, so you can do those minute changes.
Exactly. Just a tiny bit. Oh! This is nice!
Yeah, this was like, it was definitely a time investment, but I think it paid off.
Yeah.
The one thing that I noticed while playing it back that I realized that I didn't mention is in the breakdown when you have the delay going on in the I'm Here vocals. Another thing that you're doing that we didn't talk about that's helping is the fact that the automation doesn't just cut in or cut out makes it so that the delay doesn't have pops in it or doesn't cut in or cut out abruptly. It has a natural fade to it.
Very true. Yes, thank you for pointing that one out. I think I just want to tidy up the outro. The drop could use a little bit of TLC. All right. So top tip. I don't know when you would do this, except for when it sounds good.
Yeah, I think a good kind of case for it is when you have a section that sounds empty, but you don't want to add other tracks to it.
Yeah, exactly. You can always add like a little bit of effects.
Yeah.
Oh, how nice that sounds.
One example, if we want to keep with examples in the mix contest, for the element challenge, Vital Mode used like ocean sounds for the transition, and it really helped to fill those out.
Yep, 100%. So yeah, again, just to tidy up this outro here. Sometimes you just can't beat the filter and reverb combo.
I mean, it's a classic. It's tried and true for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure whoever's next can come up with something out of that. If they want to metric modulate out of it. Or just like do a cool like breakdown into like a pad, go into a silk tune, that could be cool. It's very much the vibe for that. I want to leave it open-ended.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna fix this little bit here.
Okay, cool.
Ah, you know what I could just do?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, literally identical. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, as per. Okay, one more listen through, and if I don't have any notes, then we're ready to rumble, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, reminds me of all of like those. You ever get those videos on your recommended in YouTube of those FLP like playthroughs?
Yes, and they always look so messy. Why can't it just look like this? This looks great. This looks pretty. Do that. Be better. Be like me. Why can't everyone
So true.
be
So
better?
true.
don't know when I changed. Your voice replaying in my mind. I'm not prepared this time.
It's kind of pretty.
That's facts. That's facts. Yeah,
Sick,
that's huge.
but
Awesome.
I'm happy
awesome.
with that. I'm really happy with that.
I think it's fair to say that this is the best mix that has ever had its creation process fully recorded, and that's a big milestone. That's a big
That-
milestone.
That's a big call. That's a
Yeah.
big call. I hope people can maybe take a few things away from this. I certainly took a lot away. If you learned as much as I did during this, then you'll be a master.
Yeah, if you learned as much as Baldie during this, smash like and smash subscribe.
Yeah. Comment down below how much you learned. What was your top
Exactly,
tip?
exactly. So yeah, I mean, a huge thank you just in general for doing this. I think it's awesome that we got you in particular on here, and I think it's even more awesome that you were able to come up with this, like, you know, completely recorded. So huge thank you, Baldy. Huge thank you.
Oh, you're making me blush over here. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is so sick, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad because I would never have made this otherwise. Which
Yeah.
is, I think, the awesome thing about restrictions, and the great thing about challenges in general, right? It like the mixed contest challenges get you to make stuff you never would have like thought about at all.
Exactly. Oh, I was gonna ask you, since we didn't do it here, just as a theoretical question, for the people watching, since this is kind of like, I think, one of the trickiest parts for beginning mixers, how would you go about doing a key transition in your mix?
Oh yes, good question. So what I usually use, and I'll bring over my buddy here, one of my best friends, circle of fifths. Now I know Mostrino can't see that on his screen, but you'll be able to. So I
Yeah,
just have
yeah.
us tucked away a little corner. So I've got it showing like not just the key, but also like the Camelot thing. So for DJing as well. So if I'm looking at my Serato or my record box, I can see that very quickly. And I'll often like go around the scale. So if you're unfamiliar, like if we look in the C minor and E flat major, because that's what we're currently in D sharp major or E flat major, same thing. That shares the scale with C minor, just from a different degree. And you can go down the whole rabbit hole there. Some of you music theory nerds will already know all about that. All different modes like Lydian and Locrian and Dorian and Mixolydian.
We even have
Phrygian.
a tab for that on the M catalog with all of the like equivalencies in case you guys want to see that.
Yes, very true, very helpful. I've actually used that myself on many occasions. Yeah, so usually I'd go around the wheel. So because I'm in E flat major, I could go to F minor if I wanted to, because it's just one step over. So there's like one note difference essentially. I could just as easily go to B flat major or G minor. But be cautious of the chords you're using, especially if you're going from major to minor, because you can't necessarily just slap a C minor track over an E flat major track. Again, just be careful. But that's just goes under chord layering. Otherwise, you'd be fine.
Are there any other pieces of advice or any other notes that you want to share out before we finish up here?
Yeah, my biggest and best piece of advice and I always say that when I'm asked for advice on anything, is do not take advice from anyone, not from me. Don't take anyone's advice. If anyone tells you how to do something, including me telling you this right now, just you can ignore it. Don't do it. Like, do whatever the frick you want. Like, if you, just because you saw me doing something and you're like, that's really cool, I should be doing that. No, you can do it if you like. Don't don't do something just because someone else did it. Don't do something because someone told you to do it. I think don't stop doing something because someone else told you not to do it. Don't not take someone's advice because I told you not to take someone's advice. I'm being extremely hypocritical. It's very deliberate. But yeah, I think my point is that just because someone else is doing it or saying it doesn't mean that you should necessarily treat it as gospel. Take everything with a pinch of salt, because everyone's got a different opinion about stuff. No one is agreeing on like one right way to do anything, and you might be the person to discover the next coolest way or another right way to do something. So just because I'm doing it or one of the other people are doing something and say that this is how you should always do something, just whatever. If you don't agree, then do what you think is right.
Yeah. I think the one exception to that, though, is the mix contest directions. You're definitely going to want to listen to those for sure. But yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's very true.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.
So true.
Do you have an outro song? Is it that the Fat Rat song?
Yeah, Genesis? That would be so fun.